local refugee organizations say they're feeling the impact of a new U.S.-Canada immigration agreement. Nearly 2 weeks ago, President Joe Biden and the Canadian Prime Minister approved a plan that would allow them to turn away asylum seekers and stop them from moving freely between the two countries. Because of this decision, shelters like Jericho Road Community Health Center say that they are overwhelmed with refugees and need help relocating them. I'm joined now by the founder and CEO of Jericho Road, Dr. Myron Glick. We appreciate you coming in here tonight. I wonder if we could just start maybe by explaining to us what exactly happened as the Canadian Prime Minister met with President Biden and what the change is.
Yeah, it was a big change. They met a couple weeks ago and they basically said that folks that are crossing at Roxham Road or any of these irregular border crossings, which had been sort of accepted by the Canadian government for several years, that they would stop allowing folks to cross. If they did cross, they would put them in detention and send them back to the United States.
And so how has that impacted your organizations and others that do the work that you do?
Right, we're here in Buffalo, we're in a really critical place, right across one of the major border crossings with Canada. And for many years, we in Buffalo have been this underground railroad for folks to come from the south and get into Canada. And at our organization, we help folks get into Canada, usually across the Peace Bridge. But some of our asylum seekers that came with us weren't accepted in Canada because they didn't have family there. And so they would go this irregular route through Roxham Road. Because that's closed off, it means that people are sort of stuck here in Buffalo.
How many people are we talking about here? And I know that your organization and even some others have kind of put out this call to the public to kind of help in this sort of short-term, I don't know if crisis is the right word, but this issue that you're dealing with.
So the homeless shelter that we run is called Vive, and it specifically helps asylum seekers. And every night we shelter somewhere from 80 to 140 folks. We would be, anything over 100 is a lot for us. This week we have 150, wow. And we have people in our waiting rooms. We've tried to get people in other places. And so the pressure is really on. And it is a crisis really for the folks that are coming through, these folks that have been on a long journey and are trying to find a safe place to call home. So for each of them, it really is a pretty big deal. And for us who are trying to help them, we're running out of space, we're running out of resources. And so I think that's why we put out the call.
Vive is such an incredible place. I've been in there. It's been a number of years, but so many of us who work in news here in Western New York have done stories there. And I know how important it is to the community. We are a place that is very welcoming to refugees, to asylum seekers, to migrants. And so specifically when you say, hey, Western New York, we sort of need some help, what does that look like?
Well, I think the biggest need that we have right now is for housing and shelter and food. And probably the best way for folks to help is actually to donate resources, because we are working hard to find more spaces. We know that we're out of room, so whether it's, we can find a dormitory somewhere or a building somewhere that we can, pay for folks to be there for a while. So I think money is probably the best way that people would help us. But if there is someone at a college or at a hotel or have a church that has space, we would love to talk to them.
Finally, I've only got about 45 seconds left here, but in terms of the timing of this, I mean, do you anticipate that this is just because this change just happened, or is this a new normal of you worry this could go on for a while?
I think the last 8 years, nothing's been normal, and we really don't know for sure. We know that right now we're facing a lot of folks coming, and we don't know for sure what the future holds. I'm not sure that anyone does, because the world in which we live in is broken. There's so many tough things happening across the world, and our immigration system is pretty broken, and so people will constantly be looking for a safe place to call home for their families.
Dr. Myron Glick, founder and CEO of Jericho Road. Anyone who is able to help, please reach out. I know you're easy to find online and phone numbers, and we're showing folks right now your website as well, where I know you've posted a lot of information, and also the ability to donate right there at the bottom, which I know is important. Thanks so much for coming in. It's good to see you.
You're welcome. Thank you.